Hello and welcome to Biotechnica. Please confirm in chat. Welcome to Rasayanika. Please confirm in chat if you can hear me and see me too. Welcome everybody, good evening and welcome to Biotechnica and Rasayanika's joint venture today. This live stream webinar, which you are listening live from Bengaluru, is brought to you by Biotechnica and Rasayanika jointly. And I'm your host, Shekhar Suman, CEO and Managing Director at Biotechnica. And today, together, we are going to unveil the secrets of publishing in high-impact journals. So, I want to welcome all of you to this live stream session. Please confirm in chat if you can hear me. Okay, fantastic, brilliant. So, my dear friends, colleagues, subscribers, fans and critics of Biotechnica, today we have gathered here to discuss a very important and crucial matter, which is many of us get rejected from high impact journals. Many times we end up sending our research paper, waiting for months together, and eventually the result what we get is not satisfactory. So today we are not just going to discuss this, we are going to help you analyze and realize how you can succeed in this very important task which all of you come across during your research journey. Together with me is Dr. Prabhakaran Ravichandran. Live, he'll be joining us shortly. And we have a surprise speaker also, Mrs. Urmimala. So let's get started, people. Shall we? Okay. So as you can see on your screen, we have a very interesting fact, that is, the universe is calling. Now, I always say that to all my colleagues and scientific personnel and researchers who work in various labs across the country. The world is calling, universe is calling you. But where things start going wrong is, I'll come to that later. So the world wants to know your research, right? The world wants to know what great things you have done in your laboratory. But as a scientist, you have to face numerous roadblocks, numerous hurdles, challenges. Am I right? A lot of challenges, a lot of speed breakers. But will we give up? We never gave up. So how can we give up? We all are biotechnicians. We all are proud researchers. We all are Rasainicans, proud researchers. We cannot give up. So the education labs at Biotecnika came up with this newer initiative, how to get selected in high impact journals. Now, even before you get published, these hurdles come in and somebody just delivers the news from the journal that, hey, your research got rejected. Such a heartbreak, isn't it? My heart goes out to them who wait for months together and then finally get a bad news. Very sad. But today we are here to solve that problem. But before I answer that question, before our experts answer that question to you, I want you to know how research papers or research journal works. I want you to know how to get published with these secrets. I want you to do that. But before that, I want you to try and understand how research journals work and why the hell they create such hurdles, why they have to create such hurdles. They create such hurdles because every high quality journal wants to maintain their reputation. They want only those high quality research to get published which is proven, which is not debatable, okay, which is reliable, which is citable, okay, so that later on after publishing the research paper becomes a part of their reputation. Now everybody is very careful about their reputation. Am I right? Are we not? We all are, correct? And that is the reason they do a lot of research. They do a lot of thinking before they approve a research paper. But now our University Grants Commission added a new flavor to this. And that is, they have made it compulsory to publish only in a few selective journals. They gave us the list and they want us to publish only in those journals. So now it has become even more important, more than ever, to actually go ahead and publish in high impact journals. Now, what are those journals? How to get published? We're going to come to that. Yes, I'm going to come to that. Now, UGC also announced, now trust me, UGC as a body was fed up of the plagiarism issues which they were seeing in universities. So they came out with this course on research ethics. Now, research ethics course, why they had to come up? Because there were a lot of plagiarism, a lot of publication misconduct, which was eventually tarnishing the image of India. And that is why they came up with this course. Now, eventually, what every country intends to, what the researcher of every country intends to is publish high quality research and have high quality patents, right? Research paper is the stepping stone before you actually go and get a patent, right? So you have to build your reputation. You cannot build your reputation if you have journals, if you don't have the research papers in high quality research journals. Now, that is why today's agenda at Biotecnika and Rasainika, this joint venture by both the companies, is to help you analyze which high impact journals are there in the world, how to get published there faster and flawlessly. Okay, how to avoid rejections, how to detect rejections even before you have submitted your paper, and how to ensure guaranteed publication in high impact journals. Now, this has been made possible because of the contribution of a lot of team members who have researched on this, and of course our speakers for today, Dr. Prabhakaran and Mrs. Urmimala. Before I pass on the controls to them, I have a special request. I want all of you to please like, share and subscribe this video right away. If you're watching it on Rasayanika Live or Biotecnika Live, please subscribe to our channel, or you're watching it on Facebook, please subscribe and share this on your wall. Use the hashtag Biotecnika and @Biotecnika. If you're on Instagram, tag us at Biotecnika_official. Let us make sure that every researcher in the country for the next 90 minutes is on this page. Okay, so that if all of us are on the same page talking the same thing, then definitely we'll come out with a better solution to the existing problem, the problem of publishing in high impact journals. So my dear friends, comment, like, share and subscribe. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Just do that and come back. Okay, all right, you have done it. Okay, fantastic. Now, what really is the need of the hour? That is something which we need to discuss. But before I get started, I want to introduce you to our speakers. Like you can see at my back, Dr. Prabhakaran Ravichandran, PhD from Norfolk University, State University, postdoctorate from Johns Hopkins Hospital, eminent scientist with over 15 plus years of experience in the industry, and he's right here to help us. With over 15 patents and 13 paper publications and book chapters, he holds a vast variety of experience on how the research industry works. He has also worked in the academia as well, so he has the experience of both, and he has also been awarded with prestigious awards at Norfolk State University and Old Dominion University. So he comes with a vast experience. Okay, and today's webinar, today's live stream will be a very enriching experience for all the biotechnicans and rasayanikans out there, because you are going to learn the tips and tricks right from the veteran. So next to that we will be joined by Mrs. Urmimala. So now I have to make a special announcement, which initially we didn't plan to have a second speaker. But the moment we announced, we thought it will be hardly a 1 hour seminar or a webinar, but the moment we announced the kind of interest, the kind of inquiries we started getting from all of you, that we were so excited that we brought her back into this webinar as well. Because, if you are anyways coming, let me make it even more valuable by adding more than one speaker. Right, and that is what we did. So this is a surprise speaker of today. So we have Mrs. Urmimala, senior expert at Biotecnika with 20 plus paper publications in high impact journals, and with vast experience of guiding PhD as well as pre-PhD students. Okay, and she will be right here with us after Dr. Prabhakaran to share more insights and inputs on how to get published in these journals. Now, while Mrs. Urmimala will be presenting, I'll be right there in the background answering your queries, and of course we have other experts. We have 6 more experts in chat to answer your queries, but I will urge you to focus on this webinar first, listen to the experts, and later on you can have a question and answer discussion. And yes, we will try our best to keep the question and answer discussion at the end, but if time does not permit, or if the weather does not permit, like any time in Bangalore it can rain, right? So we don't know. So that is the reason, if time doesn't permit or if the weather doesn't permit, we may not have a Q&A session. Okay, but yes, we will always be there to answer your queries in chat. Okay, so passing on the controls to Dr. Prabhakaran.
Good evening, guys. How are you? Hope everyone is excited to know the secret of publishing. Even I am also very much delighted to share the secrets which I know for publishing. So, first let us start about who is a scientist, what is research and publication. So, a scientist is a person who is a fact checker. He will not believe anything without a data. So he will not tell something which is wrong without a data. So he speaks, he converts the data into the fact. So he also keep on checking the other's fact also. He's a visionary. He knows what to do, what not to do, and then what to say, what will happen in the future. Okay, so and then he's a whistleblower. Blower. Definitely, he will tell that if you are doing this, definitely this is what going to happen. He can predict because it's all of them are science fact. So, what actually he does? He creates a novel solution to a novel problem. That's very important. He's not. He's not a ordinary person. So each and every one of you here should feel proud that you are going to create a novel solution to a novel problem. So whenever anybody reads a paper, so the paper should give a solution to a novel problem, okay, or complex problem. That's very, very important. So then only it gives the impact to the paper. And then why he has to do that? So if any scientist is doing that, he will get recognition in that particular area. And then moreover, when he validates somebody's work or somebody traditional knowledge, so it is excellent. Nobody can do that. And then he will create awareness, and then he will be more creating more accessibility. So by doing this, what he will get? He will be a leader in that particular field. He can create a lot of networking, career path. I think those who are sitting here, everyone wants to be a leader in your field. You want to know so many people, or people want to know you, and then you want to develop or grow in your career path, right? So all these things, it can be a fact checker or creating a solution for a complex problem. Who is going to be a leader? Who is going to be do all those things now? It is none other than you. Okay, so if I want to get all these things, especially the leadership, networking, career development, the career pathway, so definitely what I want to do now, I want to publish my research paper. Then only I can get all those things. Nobody knows unless you talk. So the publishing paper is the one to tell the world that what you are doing, so what you are. So there is a very famous saying in the any laboratory, if you go, publish or perish. If you are not publishing, you will not be there anywhere in the field. So definitely, I believe those who are sitting here definitely will have, have you must have done a research. Definitely you must have collected a data. And then I believe that more than 90% of the people here must have communicated to the journal. So definitely after communicating, there will be a long gap. You will not hear anything, right? I think most of you will accept what I'm saying. Even if you listen from the journal after 6 months, any one of this will be the reason. First word, you will see that rejection. Okay, the rejection may be the research what you have communicated, it is out of scope for that particular journal. And the language you have written, or the formatting issues, or the data which you have produced is not enough for the journal. So the next thing is nowadays plagiarism. So I think I will deal with that when I'm talking about it, right? So these are the one of the main reason why most of our papers are rejected if you send it to any international journal, right? So or else even if they accept, there will be a lot of corrections with pages of comments. I will not say that everyone must have come across this one, being English is not the first language. So definitely every one of us will be facing this issue. So don't worry about that. It is all by practice and planning. Okay, so number one. So what are the secrets? It is almost, I can call that it is a planning properly. So that is what I am going to discuss you guys. So the guide that will get your research published. For me, all the research is a very good one. There is nothing called super duper research. There is nothing called mediocre research. All of them are research, because you are going to find a solution for a complex problem. Problem is complex. So when you do that, you want to set your research objective very, very clear. Even I can give you an analogy. See, for example, from Bangalore, if I want to go to Delhi, I want to think, what are the ways I am going to reach? What are the possibility that I can reach Delhi? I can go by road, I can go by air, or I can drive my own car. So these are the three ways, most possible ways. So if you select that one, then it is very easy for other steps. If I want to go by flight, definitely I want to check the availability of the flight, the timing of the flight, so that what time I have to reach. All those planning is very much required for your travel. The same way, first of all, you want to set your clear research objective. Your research objective means, what is the problem? By doing these experiments, what is the solution I am going to give to them? That is the main objective. It is not like that objective one, objective two, objective three. No. So you want to find a you want to find a problem that is very complex. You want to find a solution for that. Very, very important. So once you set your objective very clear, that is your plan is very clear, then you select for a search for journals. So everybody will be doing in the name of literature search, but we never concentrate on, okay, this is a very good work, this is a very good paper, so the same way I want to do better than this, I want to do. You will be thinking, everyone will be thinking, but we never concentrate, this paper is published in which journal, what is his impact factor, is it international or local? So that is what we never bothered about it. Actually, hereafter you want to give more respect to the name of the journal. Note it down, that one. So next, always I'll tell you, browse from any one of these database. So it can be a Scopus, or it can be Web of Science, PubMed, and then Science Direct. Why now? These are the most renowned database, where they have lots and lots of journals they are publishing, and then moreover they are more genuine, and then moreover they don't get any money from you guys, and then this is the entire world is following this database. Okay, so or else other way to say that, if you want to publish in any paper, see that the journal is listed in any one of these database. If it is not listed, nobody is going to read that paper except you. So if you want to see that you want your paper to be read by everyone, then you have to choose where it has been published. And then the moment you do it, you will be getting a lot of unsolicited calls and then emails. Just stay away from that. Don't become a prey to any one of such emails. And then by browsing, definitely you will choose the best fit journal, right? Definitely you'll find out. So by opening the journal, you know that, okay, they are having they are accepting 6 figures, and then 6 figures how they have see, for example, if you are doing whether this compound is toxic or not, you will be doing definitely MTTSA, right? So that is not enough. You want to go for another test, like a tunnel assay or live and cell assay. It can be microscope based. So to reconfirm, yes, this particular compound is not toxic. So that is how each and every figure panel will look like. Okay, so that is the reason, that is the thing you want to see. Okay, so okay, this is what this is how the journal is asking for. So based on that, you can design your experiment. That is very, very important. So designing is done, and then the next step is follow your IMRAD format. Very important format. If you follow this, writing a paper, it is like almost like publishing your newspaper. So what is I stands for? Introduction. So what you want to write now, what you want to think now, what did you or others do in this field? After knowing what others have done, what you are going to do. So by deciding that point, you will understand how I'm going to write my method. The same way, if I want to go to Delhi by flight, so definitely I need a flight ticket. So I want to decide that which time I want to choose, right? So by choosing the right time, 3 hours ahead I want to be there. Based on all those things you want to plan. So once you are uh, your problem is ready, then the method will be coming on its own way, and then the results and discussion, it is on its way. If you do like this, there is no any chance for any plagiarism, because everything is yours. Plagiarism is cut and paste. When there is no any choice of the experiment, you want to take it from other. That is how everybody became pray for that. When you do follow this, there is no chance, 100% I'm sure that you will not have any problem of plagiarism, because everything is yours, because it's very unique. The complex is unique, your solution to that is unique, every result is going to be unique, because first of its kind, right? And then after that, read the author guidelines. Very, very important, because some journals will ask that you should not give more than five data, and then the rest has to be in the additional data. So and then what kind of whether you want to write methods and materials separately, or results and discussion separately or together, all those things, you have a complete idea about the journal. And then even they'll tell that whether you have how long it will take to publish also. So once you have done, then you start organizing your manuscript. So if you want to, what do you mean by organizing a manuscript? That is the key there. Actually, the manuscript, it should be like a storytelling. Each and every one should feel that you are a Spielberg, like in Jurassic Park. Till the Jurassic Park, before that, nobody has talked about dinosaurs in such a way. So you want to think yourself, you are going to tell a problem with this, you are going to tell, you are going to deal with the problem, you are going to tell a solution for that. Nobody can do that. Everybody can talk about a problem, only the scientist can give a solution to that. So when you're writing such a wonderful thing, you want to tell as a story what everyone has to understand. It should be step by step. If you go to a movie, there should be step by step, scene by scene building should be there. The climax I'm expecting after 2 hours, right? I don't want to tell the climax after at the end of 10th minute. I don't want to bore the people for the rest of 1.5 hours, right? The same way you treat your paper like that. So once you feel that yes, it should be like a book, it should be like a movie, then you tell a story. Okay, so how to organize the steps, how to organize your manuscripts, the steps involved, very important. Okay, so definitely everybody must have seen the manuscript. It'll have a title, it'll have an abstract, it'll have a keywords, it'll have an introduction, methods, results, and discussion. At the end, you'll have a conclusion, acknowledgement, reference, and then supplementary data, so on. So any research paper, this is the structure of the research paper. So if you see that, this is all of the other components. From these components, which one you will do first? If I ask this question, what will be your answer? Yes, everyone said that it is a title, followed by introduction, then methods, then results, then the pictures, acknowledgement. Yes, everybody, even I have done the same way. But my secret is start with figures and table. How? So you have designed a very good way of very good experiments. So today you are doing every biology experiments, definitely it will take 3 days to see the result. So let us, for example, I'm saying that Monday you're starting. So definitely by Wednesday evening, you'll get the data, raw data. What I'm saying, Thursday, Friday, you make the data into presentable way, whether it's a bar diagram or if it's a picture or if it is a table, and then add the legend, and then below write what is your inference. For example, if it is MTTSA at this concentration, none of them are dead or dead. So this is the percentage of the death, this is the percentage of life, all the inputs, small life, you prepare it. By Friday, you'll be having one complete picture table with legend, right? So including your result. So this is what I'm saying, that prepare your figures and then tables. Next, simultaneously, so definitely you'll get a time during Tuesday, write the method for the experiment. So how you have started, what is your treatment, and then what is your data point. So simultaneously at the end of the week, you'll have a method and then figures ready. And then I told you simultaneously write the result for each and every figures and table, right? And then once you have done all the experiment, for example, let us say every week you're doing 2 experiments, in a 3 weeks you will get like almost like 6 or 8 results you can get. So once you compile all your data with your legends and methods, everything, then start writing the discussion roughly. Okay, so definitely you'll be having a review of literature also. So you just wonder, this is what I got, others also got the same thing or not. So somebody has got this many percentage more, so I have got this many percentage less, so I am superior. So you are validating the others data, at the same time you are presenting your data to the people. Okay, so once you are done the discussion, the next thing is conclusion. So you have a data, you have a result, you have a discussion, and then it is very easy to write a conclusion. The moment you landed in Delhi airport, it is concluded you reached Delhi. It's just like that, right? So it is completely saying that conclusion written. Now having all the important part of your paper, now you write a very compelling introduction, very important. So now you want to be a very good storyteller. So the first 15 minutes of the book or 15 minutes of the movie is very important, whether I am going to watch the movie without forwarding or not. So now I know what is the end, right? What I'm going to discuss here, how good my data are. So now I can give a very good introduction, right? I can create a I can trigger a brain. Okay, what is going to tell, right? So I can write a very compelling introduction. After writing an introduction, you have to write a very impressive abstract. That is very important, because everybody first they are going to read only the abstract, right? Very good introduction, and then the data point, what is your conclusion, pakka. If you are given that, everybody will love to read your paper. Once they read, definitely they will refer your journal. So and so has published this paper, it is very nice, and then based on that somebody will be validating, so your visibility will increase. And then you compose a very concise descriptive title. So after that, very important is keyword, because the keyword where it is important, what are the words that you are going to search in the Google or PubMed or in the Elsevier, anything. So that keyword you want to give very suitable. If any one of this word they type, your paper has to come. That is very important. You have to spend some time on that. So once you do that, then acknowledgement. Those who have helped you, you can write acknowledgement to them, and then write a reference based on the journal's requirement. Okay, now you finalize everything, and then you can write a very convincing letter to the journal editor. And then here I want to tell you one more thing. Before writing, don't see your convenient time to send the mail, because I'm saying that all those things you can prepare on your convenient time, including the cover letter. Once the cover letter is ready, see that the journal belongs to which country. Okay, so see that what is the difference in the time between Indian time and then their country time. Very important. Why not? This editor is not going to be an ordinary person. He'll be a very, very big person. Every day, minimum, you will get 100 emails. Okay, so this person has to open each and every email, and then you want to answer to that, and then you want to forward it to the concerned reviewers. So his job is very big. Okay, so he will be always targeting the emails which is received today. So he will, because if you send it your convenient time, night 8 o'clock, that maybe is 10 o'clock evening. So when you opens next day, it will be like completely the next day for him. So your email will be his previous day. He will not open it. There are so many people who will follow this uh, agenda. So always check, see that you are sending your email that reaches on its morning. Very important, right? It has to reach his email ID at around 8 o'clock of his time, because this paper is mine. This is also very, very important. After writing the convincing letter, yes, you are ready to go for publishing a paper. Definitely, I'm saying that since you have everything, you are targeted the journal, you know that by opening it, the editor will be very happy. Yes, he has everything, immediately will forward to his editor. And then what will happen? And then within no time, it will be published. Very simple, right? Hope you guys are convinced by doing this, because I feel that most of you guys will not be doing in this order, right? The next thing is impact factor. So impact factor is nothing but the quality of the journal. How the quality of the journal will be accessed, it is depends upon how many times the journal is being referred by other people. If you see that the nature, always the nature decide, it opens up a new field. If you publish any paper in the nature journal or science journal, it opens a new field, which means that it is first of its kind. There are next level journals. Okay, the highly impact journal is your nature and science, right? The same way, it is all decided by how many times the people are referred. So you want to publish a paper of your field which is being highly referred by others. That is your impact factor. So mostly this impact factor will be considered like H index, I index, or G index. If you see this, H stands for his or her index. It is nothing but how many times that paper is being referred. For example, you have published a paper X, somebody is read that paper. If the paper is referred in their paper for only one time, it is impact factor is 1. Just imagine the same paper is referred in 2-3 places or 5-6 places, which means that you have written a very compelling data. He cannot write his research data without referring yours. That should be the level of data or paper you have to write, you want to publish. So the more he is referring, your impact factor will be increasing for that particular paper. So the journal impact factor also will be very, very high. That is what the impact factor. So you don't want to worry about the impact factor if you publish any paper in the above set database, like Web of Science, Scopus, or Google Scholar. Because this, and then apart from that, you can see that EMB base, PubMed, and then Science Direct, and then the Science Finder Scholar, all of them are well reputed journal. One more thing, if you publish any one of this database, they will not ask for money. But there are some people, like for example, there are two ways. I think that most of you guys know PLOS One. PLOS One, what they'll do now, they'll get money from the from the author, but it is free for anyone who wants to read. So your reach will be very high. Or else these people like Elsevier or anything, these people, the Google Scopus or Web of Science, they will not take any money from you, but they'll take money from the consumers. So these are the two business models. They want to survive, right? If you publish any one of the journal which has been listed in this database, you don't want to worry about your impact factor, because they take care of writing what is the impact of this particular journal. They calculate and then they display it. So those who are working, the teachers, lecturers, don't want to worry about to calculate their impact if you are publishing any one of the paper in the reputed journals. So once you're published, so I think now you guys must have convinced, or you must have satisfied, yes, my next paper, I'm going to do that in 4 months. I'm going to see my paper online, right? If you get that confident, I'm very, very happy. After that, it is not like your job ends there. So you want to increase the visibility of your paper. The first thing, the moment it get published or accepted, share with your social network. Use Twitter or Facebook. Very, very important. Don't use it like that, because when you are using it, your friends will know that. I'm not talking about your childhood friends, your professional friends will know that you have published a paper. Immediately everybody will be visiting that thing, so it may trigger some ideas for them, right? So they may refer your paper. You are increasing your impact factor. Number two, update your professional profile. So this is a real uh, professional people will be looking there in the LinkedIn. I don't know how many of you have the LinkedIn. If you don't have one, today is the right time to open one LinkedIn page. Very important. And then you share the same thing in the ResearchGate. It is a free platform. If the paper is available free, if you want to upload there, you can upload. Or else every day, everyone, definitely, if you surf any keyword, you will end up with ResearchGate. So you can easily get the paper out of that. Your visibility will be increased. Next, using your Gmail account, have one Google Scholar. You keep updating your publications, right? The next thing is, if you are having a very good skills of writing, have one a blog, because nowadays is a technology era. So what you can write a blog? It is like almost like a summary of your research paper, just like how the news articles are coming. News articles, if it is published in the paper, it is a news article. If it is published in the internet, it is a blog article, the same blog article. If you are not having that skill, don't worry, definitely any one of your friend will be having it. Just buy them a ice cream or a burger or a pizza. Just ask him to write a summary of your research paper, and then just post it in your blog, so people will be reading it. So you are increasing your visibility, because tomorrow you want to be a leader in your subject. Okay, this is very important. That is unique arcade author identity, because in your name there are so many people may be there are so many people are available, there may be confusion. Okay, so instead you can have your arcade ID identifier. It is a very, very simple. Just go Google it, and then you will just give all your information. They'll give you 16-digit alphanumeric code, so you can publish that number in your LinkedIn profile, Twitter profile, Facebook, ResearchGate, and then your blog, and then even your Google Scholar profile, so that people will not get confused who is the author. Okay, there is a chance if two people are there by the same name, okay, who is doing what? Because some person will be doing in electronics, you will be doing in biology. Okay, whom should I contact? That will be a big issue. To avoid that, this is a very big eye opener, or this is a very good opportunity to stop that such confusion. Okay, so hope I must have given you some of the secrets, not some of the secrets, the real secret behind publishing paper. Yes. Thank you. Happy publishing.
Thank you so much, Prabhakaran sir. I welcome everyone here from Biotechnica and Rasayanika to my presentation. Please confirm if I am perfectly audible to you and my presentation is visible. Okay, great. Thank you. Now, as sir has already given you some introduction about how the paper structure needs to be and what all tips and tricks you need to follow, I will just like to add on some points to it. Now, questions to consider. Is your research work novel, unique, and groundbreaking? High impact journals like Science and Nature, even some other ones, they will prefer some novel and groundbreaking scientific work. Now, when I say novel or groundbreaking, I do not mean that the field of study will not have back references. It will surely have. But however, the incremental leap that one's body of work should provide will have to be considerably higher than average research output. The thought and approach needs to be very simple and obvious from a scientific approach point of view, but very unique in terms of body of knowledge accumulated till date. They love it if you are breaking the existing know-how. The net result of the research paper should be also a cutting-edge work in the area of research. Now, will it change existing outlook and the view of the subject? Is there anything challenging which you have done in your work? Will the results influence other researchers? Have you provided some solutions to difficult problems? Is it cutting-edge technology, and do you have tons of evidence to back up the work from all possible angles? If some of the answers to this question is yes, then you are good to approach the high impact journals for publication. On submission of your research paper for review, the editor's desk will be the first elimination round in the review process. They will do the screening to find out if the submitted topic is sufficiently groundbreaking in that particular field of study or not. Now, at this stage of initial screening, the majority of submitted articles will be rejected even without further review. Then the next stage what you have is a peer review. Any paper that survives this screening will be sent to a team of independent experts of the same field of study for the review and also some critical analysis. Now, why I am emphasizing on groundbreaking, let's go back and look some examples. Let's take Nature only. You will see the work published in that there are very novel groundbreaking work of the time. Watson and Crick structure of DNA, then the first molecular protein structure of myoglobin, the 3D model of the myoglobin molecule obtained by X-ray analysis, then ozone hole, first cloning of a mammal, Dolly sheep, the human genome sequenced in 2001, initial sequencing and analysis of the human genome. Now they broke all rules, all the know-how. They introduced something new. This is the major requirement for getting published in high impact journal. Now, as I said, there is some rejection steps. The most common reason for instant rejection is that the manuscript is inappropriate for the journal. There can be several reasons for that. Example, it may be too basic for a clinical journal, or too parochial, or outside the remit of the journal. Some other reasons may be what I said is the requirement. It may lack novelty. It is a descriptive work rather than a mechanistic work. It poses an uninteresting question that is ultimately leading nowhere. Or it may be it has a poor or inappropriate study design. Like maybe it is underpowered. And once it goes into the peer review hands, if the editors decide that your manuscript is worthwhile and stands a chance for publication, they will seek external peer review. The percentage of the manuscript selected for this pathway will vary from journal to journal, but certainly the higher impact journals will only send out the best papers for external peer review. And after the external peer review, The available decisions include some major revisions. First of all, there will be rejection, then some major revisions or minor revision, and if accepted, then without any changes, acceptance is again extremely rare. Even the best written papers still have some minor flaws. Now, what are the reasons for rejection after peer review? That can be a flaw in design or the method, as I said, lack of novelty, like as highlighted by expert reviewers who may be aware of similar papers that are in press or have just been published. Maybe it is not giving out a clear message. It is simply confusing the readers. Small effect, incremental, minor points that do not help. Your research is not of that much importance. The study's rationale is poorly explained. The study has many confusing charts. I'll be discussing some points how to present it well. The figure or table legends are inadequate. Now, even these small things can lead to rejection of your paper. The numbers do not match, and the discrepancy, it is not explained well. Now, you need to pay attention that these, at least from your end, these reasons are clarified. Title as a hook, abstract as a trailer. Now, title should be used as a hook to pull the readers and the editors in. It's like a hook. You are going to reel in the people inside your paper. The relative amount of views, if you compare in the paper what they receive, the different sections, the actual paper will be very less. Then most of it will be abstract and the maximum will be the title. So a good title and abstract will lead to more people reading the paper itself. Do not underestimate the importance of a good title and abstract. Now these short blocks of text, they are often the final consideration when constructing a paper. It will receive far more views than the paper itself. Actually, the title is the first window for readers to look at your work. Therefore, select a title that will catch their attention. It will accurately describe the contents of your manuscript and make people want to read further. A good title should be informative, telling the reader what the finding was. It should be clear, concise, and it should convey the main topics of the research and even highlight the importance of the research finding. That is some keywords. So your challenge is to come up with a title that is not too long, which could be clumsy and annoying, or it should not be too short as well, which may lack some crucial selling points about your research. Now the best approach is try to write down some possible titles. Think about how they describe the content of the manuscript and then select a short list for further refinement. And this also means that it's better to avoid some superfluous or specialized jargon, especially in the headline and abstract. Like for example, if some organism it's a semi-arboreal lagomorph. You can't just put it like that. It will be better if you give the title as Tree Climbing Behavior in the Mountain Cottontail with the organism name. Whereas the title should serve to attract the reader's interest, one must also find a balance between highlighting the result and even overselling it. Focus on the novelty and include one key message. Use some action words to make the title clear and lively. You should avoid some generic words like such as on the, or study of, or investigation of. They are overused and usually do not grab the reader's attention. Acronyms that are unfamiliar to the intended audience should not be used, as they will only make the content unclear. Also try to avoid use of punctuation, including some split titles with dashes and colons unless they are essential. And although puns, play on words and amusing metaphors might work for some review papers, but if you are going for research papers, it is not recommended. And lastly, but importantly, avoid question marks in the title. You are supposed to be providing answers as authors, not asking questions. Then after the headline comes the abstract. Now demonstrate the wider context of your research by asking questions like, what are the conclusions of your paper really telling us? And who does that impact on? How relevant is that beyond your immediate community? Abstracts represent a guide to the most important part of your manuscript's written content. Many readers and editors will only read the abstract of your manuscript. Therefore, it has to be able to stand alone. Now, what questions should an abstract answer? In its simplest form, it has to address those key questions. What sir has told you, what was done, what did you do, what did you find, why are these findings useful and important, and what is the take-home message. If you follow this simple format, your abstract will be comprehensive and worthy. Make sure you follow the paper journal manuscript formatting guidelines also when preparing the abstract. And note that most journals, they also set a word limit, some approximately 250 words for abstract, which is the maximum that would appear on indexing services. And abstracts are usually written with a standard predetermined structure. The first few lines has to provide a basic introduction of the field, followed by the background on the questions or the problems within the field. Next, a specific question needs to be asked. A transition such as "here we show" leads to the main results. Action verbs and active constructions are more effective than passive ones. Like "it was shown that." It's better to say that "here we show" and transit into the main result. The abstract should end with a conclusion also, or an answer to the question which you have addressed. And it should be followed by an elaboration on the broader implication or impact of the finding. If the result section of the abstract, some details on the methods is provided, then author should seek to achieve a balance between too much and too little information. Avoid any obscure information. You do not want an editor or reader to become frustrated over an abstract that requires multiple reads. So keep it simple. Also, try not to use any figures or tables because some readers lack that capacity to access it. So remember, the title and abstract should be self-contained, in one word. Next is language quality. A scientific report article should report your findings and conclusions as clearly and concisely as possible. Now, to do this, achieve this, try to avoid unnecessary words or phrases. Keep it simple. You can also use some active writing when possible. For example, carbon dioxide was consumed by the plant. This is passive. Active writing shortens this phrase to "the plant consumed carbon dioxide." This is keeping it simple, which is much snappier. Again, tense is important. For known facts and hypotheses, it's better to use the present tense. The average life expectancy of a honeybee is 6 weeks. But use the past tense when referring to experiments you have conducted. All the honeybees were maintained in an environment with a consistent temperature of this much temperature. And also use the past tense to describe results. The average lifespan of honeybees in our contained environment was 8 weeks. Right? So known facts and hypotheses, use present tense. Results and experiments you have conducted, better to use past tense. Now, choosing a journal. Choosing a suitable journal is one of the most important and difficult aspects of publishing scientific work. Judging the quality of your own work and where it fits in the hierarchy of scientific journal, it is not an easy matter and it requires considerable skill. You should therefore be able to place your work on the novelty scale, the impact scale, and the priority scale. Be honest about the quality of your own work. Be practical. Now, this is what defines high priority. They do not want to publish confirmatory studies that simply replicate the first or second published papers. You should also be honest about the quality and impact of your own work. We all think very highly of our own research, isn't it? However, the most important measure is how your researchers think of your work. So be familiar with your own field and stay up to date on what has or has not been published already. You don't want a second or a third version of already published papers. High impact journals want to publish novel findings that have a major impact on the field. Then many authors, what they do when it comes to publishing, they cascade down. Most authors will like to cascade down. They start with the highest impact journal and then they work their way down the hierarchy. Now this is acceptable if you have time and you do not mind spending months waiting for your work to be published. However, a better approach is to judge the quality of your work accurately and target the most suitable journal from the outset. Therefore, you should check the aims, remit, interest, scope, etc. of the journal which is in question. It is also acceptable to make a pre-submission inquiry to the high-impact journal if you think your work is worthy. If they allow you to submit, then you are fishing in the right pond. What are journal metrics? They measure, compare, and they will often rank the research and scholarly publications. Basically, they are at your disposal to help you select the most appropriate journal for your article. More recently, a variety of other free journal metrics have been created, including CiteScore, Eigenfactor, Google Scholar Metrics, then SJR, SNP is there. Now here, these can also be referred to as journal rankings, journal importance or journal's impact. Journal metrics allow the scholars and researchers to compare the scholarly periodicals. Now when used alongside information about the journal scope, editorial board, international outlook and audience, they can help you to find out the best destination for your research. Different type of journal metrics are there. It's a good practice to look at more than one metric to help you make your decision. You will find a dedicated journal insight section on many of the journal home pages, giving information about the journal speed, then reach, and then the impact. Right? So it's important to take this kind of proxy metric into consideration. Each journal ranking metrics will be using their own formula to determine a journal's importance to the research community. Many include counting the number of times the journal has been cited in other works. The differing formulas and methodology mean the results will differ from metric to metric. For example, an Eigenfactor score takes into consideration the size of the journal, allowing larger journals more weight, while other metrics do not take this into account. Comparing the results from more than one metric will help provide a better picture of the real impact of a journal. Now, as Sir discussed Scopus, what is this? It lets you search for relevant topics or articles during the literature review phase. It is the largest abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature, scientific journals, books, conferences, and features also. Some tools are there to track, analyze, and visualize your scholarly research. Its vast database contains abstracts and references from many above 20,000 titles obtained from over 5,000 publishers worldwide, ensuring broad interdisciplinary coverage in the fields of science, technology, medicine, social science, art, humanities, etc. So for authors, Scopus can simplify the search for relevant full text content and potential research partners with advanced search functions and email alerts on specific topics, people, and institution. It decides where and with whom to publish. They will analyze the top journals and authors in your discipline. Additionally, it can also help you discover who is citing you, see their H-index and output information. Scopus also helps you manage your research output and monitor your reputation. Just sign up to receive citation alerts to track when your work is cited in other articles, and use the Scopus author profile page to view and analyze your output, including your H-index. Explore how many citations an article or author has received and identify potential collaborators. And then obviously find information to support your grant or other applications. Right. Then comes manuscript editing. See, before you submit your manuscript, it is very essential to appreciate that you have only one opportunity to attract the attention of the editor. If this is wasted by careless mistakes or omissions, your chance is lost. It is always very helpful to ask a non-specialized colleague to review your manuscript and comment on the readability or any typographical errors, grammars, etc. More importantly, the colleague would be able to advise you about whether your manuscript is logical and if the storytelling makes sense or not. You know what is the storytelling way of writing the paper. So getting a scientific manuscript published in a high impact journal is never easy. Rejection can happen before the content has even been considered. Why? Sometimes it is because the language does not meet the high standards journal editor's expectation. This presents a real problem. Now there are some types of editing. Substantive editing is to check the overall structure, logic and organization of your information. If you require clarity and precision of information, want to remove any repeated or awkward phrases, we want to remove any biased language and inappropriate jargon, the language style and logical flow in sentence and paragraphs, then reduction in the passive voice of the sentences, clarity and parallelism in the tables and figures, or organize the sentence and paragraphs as required, all this can be done under this substantive editing. Then you have copy editing, which is the correction of spelling, grammar and punctuation errors to eliminate all the mechanical errors and improve the overall consistency. Correction of word usage, checking the consistency of citations and references, the style of language, abbreviations, numbers, lists, facts, data, scientific units, then also checking the consistency of tables, figures and references. Then you have journal formatting. Now, as I said, the research should match the scope of the target journal. Every journal has a scope, which one can find out upon visiting the journal website. So when one is planning to do research or publish the scope, it needs to be thoroughly considered. If scope doesn't match, then again there is a chance of rejection. So it is to make the research manuscript comply with the journal's guidelines and ensure and raise your chances of acceptance. It is adapting the text to suit the requirements of style, spelling and punctuation, formatting of the references and citations to suit the journal style, organizing the different sections of the manuscript to suit the journal guidelines, arranging the tables, figures and figure legends as per the instructions of the journal, making the text fit within the word limit which is set by the journal, and making the manuscript adhere to the instructions on acronyms, units and symbols used. Last is proofreading. It is the last round of check to identify if any remaining errors are there or not. It can catch and eliminate grammar, spelling, punctuation and formatting errors, check the headers, footers, page breaks, word breaks, and check the final design and layout of the manuscript. So this editing services, they can assist you with the style and other issues. Now by knowing what kind of task is involved in different kind of scientific editing, you can choose either one or a combination of two or more services to make your manuscript ready and fit for publication. So you have to choose wisely. You have AS Editors, Webshop, Elsevier, Author Services, Springer Nature. Like this, some services are there. Right? Next is write a good cover letter. The first thing is address the editor-in-chief by name. In the cover letter to the editor, your aim is to sell your paper to the journal. You only have one shot to it and you must get it right. So great care should be taken to attract the editor's attention and provide a reason for sending your paper out for the next stage, that is external peer review. You should avoid any careless mistakes, which sadly happens very frequently, such as addressing the letter to the wrong editor or even to the wrong journal. So address the chief editor by name, editor-in-chief. This implies that you know the journal editorial committee and you have bothered to check. Then next, one more thing, avoid making a mistake in the spelling also of the editor of the journal. Right? So this happens when authors send a rejected paper to the next journal without even changing anything. So the same email and the same cover letter will go. Then start your cover letter by stating why you think your paper is good fit for this journal. Indicate why this work will fit the journal's remit and the scope. Then include any additional relevant background information which could not fit in your abstract. Ensure that your letter is not too short or too long and that it does not simply repeat the abstract. Try not to copy paste the abstract. right? Then focus on answering why you think the question you set out to address is important, the scientific question which you have addressed, and why, or why what you found is so exciting. Highlight the novel aspect of your work. You have to highlight it, and why the journal readership would find this important. Then do not include the abstract. Past accomplishment list also from your lab, the details of the meeting where you might have presented this work, and the feedback you might have received for your research. No need to include all this. It's your wish if you want to let the editor-in-chief know whether your manuscript was rejected by another journal, and attach previous reviewers and your response to them. And make sure your cover letter contains these sentences: that we confirm that this manuscript has not been published elsewhere and also is not currently under consideration by another journal. All authors have approved the manuscript and agree with its submission to this journal. This word is an impact sentence, these words. Right? Then some more useful tips. So the research work should be unique, as I said, with no previous record of someone else doing it. So in case of review paper, it should be planned in such a way that the exact topic has not been published in the last 5-6 years. So accordingly, you have to plan your unique research beforehand, and also you have to maintain the standard of the research work. Every journal has a standard of research work, so the work needs to be planned beforehand so that it fulfills the journal requirements, like use of high-end instruments, or as I said, seeing the focus of the journal. Maybe it focuses on a particular aspect of a research. Maybe it focuses on the molecular level, but your work is at the physical level. So accordingly, you have to plan beforehand if you are targeting, your dream is to get your journal published in that high impact journal. Right? So you publish. Next is you publish in the sources that you read. That's how you get familiar with the state of the art of a particular field. If you don't know what's going on, how can you hope to advance it? Science and Nature are the top tier journals. So papers rejected from them are frequently published elsewhere in the more specialist journals. And they reject about 90% of the papers that they get. So if you're not prepared to know which journal you would go next, it's very likely that you're not sufficiently familiar with the field to have the kind of contribution what would get Science and Nature's attention, isn't it? So if you read them, you would probably know the kind of articles that they publish. You will get accustomed with their standards. All you can do is to submit, and instructions for submission are included in each issue as well on their websites. So they are both a bit opaque about the acceptance process, and it's hard to know which articles will get accepted. Even genuinely excellent articles are rejected for unclear reasons. But genuinely good research will eventually find a home in some journal or other, and it will nearly always be in some journal that you read. Next is know your audience. Nobody is obliged to read everything that you read. And if you do not pitch your paper appropriately, it can reduce its potential impact. The readership for a scientific paper is specialized, but you should never assume too much knowledge on reader's part. This is particularly important in high impact journal, as one of the acceptance criteria is research with broad relevance. So while your research readers will likely be scientists, they will not all be experts in your field, isn't it? And data rules. Remember that extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. So the data should be redundant and be able to back it up from all sides, from all angles. So if you are working in the area of melanoma research, then you should be able to provide data from all angles: molecular biology, protein expression studies, functional studies, cell culture, animal models, human cell lines, and correlate the data with the human trials also, if sanctioned by the ethics committee. So experimentation itself should be done in redundant ways, so that there is no doubt at all about the result. Sample size should provide statistically significant data which is not borderline, but well inside the acceptable range of significance. Figures are very important. make good use of figures. They must visually represent your findings. They must be in a logical order and correspond to your story. Now in the age of big data, figures have become overwhelming, but you can cut them to size. Consider using the subset of your data that best describes your point. And logistics of manuscript submission. Follow the instruction. First and foremost, follow the instructions. Many avoidable delays are incurred because of the lack of adherence to journal submission instructions. Thus, you should adhere to simple things such as word count, formatting table, figures, media. And one more thing, do not submit to 2 journals simultaneously. This is regarded as a serious offense in publishing and in academia. If you encounter problems, you should contact the journal office. Now, dealing with rejection. The first thing to do is control your emotions, accept criticism, reflect, and then approach with a cool head. The initial reaction of most authors whose papers are rejected is rage and the desire to immediately send a rebuttal to the editor. Authors also tend to use the words unfair, ignorant, worse. So this is a natural reaction, but do not allow your emotions to cloud your judgment. The best strategy is to approach this with a cool head, perhaps after a period of reflection and wisdom, and be humble and accept the criticism because no manuscript is ever perfect. Go through the comments carefully and fairly. Address the weakness of your manuscript. If you think the reviewers have made a mistake on an important point and you can prove this, then you could consider a rebuttal to the editor. But then again, you should be extremely polite to referees. Like the referee didn't get the point and did not read the paper well. This is not good. It's better to say we understand that in the original manuscript these points were not clearly explained and highlighted as rightfully pointed out by the referee. We have therefore made extensive changes to the manuscript. This is a better way. So if referees, editors, they make obvious mistakes, then yes, you can fight. But the thing is, most editors would reevaluate the manuscript in the light of any glaring mistake made by the reviewers. If you are also able to address the weakness of your manuscript by providing important new data that were mentioned by the reviewers, then you may wish to write to the editor and say that you acknowledge the comments of the reviewers and the reject decision, but now you are in a position to rectify the weaknesses highlighted by the reviewers. This extra work may tip the balance and allow the editor to reverse the decision also. It has to be said, however, that rebuttals are rarely very successful. Therefore, if the aforementioned exceptions are unavailable, then your best action is to revise and send the improved manuscript to a new journal. So if you send it to a new journal, make sure you have addressed the weaknesses from the first version. So if it doesn't work, move on to the next journal. Don't consider it as a failure. It's a part of the game. You will get other chances. And also it's a really very poor practice to quickly turn the manuscript around and just send an identical version to the next journal without even any editing. That's when you will make mistakes also. Remember that in a specialized field, you may get the same reviewers. Therefore, be sure to answer all their questions. You should try to provide answers or data for all comments. If this requires extra work, then so be it. This will ultimately provide you with a far greater piece of work that you and your co-workers will be proud of. So if you are unable to perform the additional experiments requested, maybe lack of funds, materials, departure of personnel from your lab, then let your reviewers and editors know about this. Also, while acknowledging the value of their suggestion in the first place. When you revise your manuscript, you should make it easier for the reviewers and also the comments, and make your answers clear by using the subheadings and numbers. Right? Highlight your changes in the text and give page numbers. And what to do if your manuscript is accepted? Very good. But before celebrating your achievements, you need to perform a few more tasks. So if not completed already at the time of submission, you must complete the copyright assignment and conflicts of interest disclosure forms. Your manuscript will undergo then typesetting and copy editing. Galley proofs will be sent to you and you will be asked to answer queries from the production team within a very narrow frame of time, like usually 48 to 72 hours. So it is essential that you carefully examine this typeset version because many mistakes creep in at the production stage, like mislabeled legends, incorrect order of figures and tables, inaccurate language that may be linguistically correct but scientifically inaccurate. So this is also a stage for updating all references in your bibliography section. Once all of this is completed, your manuscript will be scheduled for online first publication and then will be provided a digital object identifier number. So this DOI is a character string that is used to uniquely identify an object such as an electronic manuscript. So this is a proof of application and can be used on your CV, grant application or in bibliography for other manuscripts as well, right? So the conclusion is high impact papers need strong evidence and noteworthy conclusions. Select a real challenging problem whose solution amendment significantly impacts on the domain. Getting your work published is about more than good science. It's about communication also. So accordingly, it's a competitive business. Many articles are put forward, but only few are accepted. And data should be at the heart of everything you do. Without excellent data, it is virtually impossible to publish in high impact journal. Still, even with high quality data, you can jeopardize your chances of publication if you don't have a high quality paper. So next is formulate the problem using some mathematical modeling, visualization or empirical experiment depending on the domain, and let the peers and reviewers see the significance of the problem. Propose a novel solution in a way that has not been undertaken before for the same problem. Then throughout the research, try to follow the conventions of research in your domain in the highest possible level, especially when it comes to evaluation and validation of your work. And in the data collection phase, try to follow the most appropriate approaches and use accurate tools to measure and quantify. Maybe looking at similar papers can help you in this. This is needless to say, avoid making silly mistakes. Usually reviewers do not expect to see silly mistakes in the work. If you make small obvious mistakes, how can reviewers ensure the rest of the work is error-free? Show very high level of confidence in understanding and expertise over the domain. If you need to review related work in your paper, try to select those closely which is related to your work, not any work. And then obviously present your work nicely. Avoiding English errors, use some professional drawing tools to draw high quality figures, draw nice tables, use proper sizing for objects in the paper, not too big, not too small. So there is an approach by some young authors that leaves some works to be done in revision stage, which is not correct. Don't send incomplete work to any high quality journal. There will hardly be any chance to correct mistake. The review is more to evaluate the significance of the work, the novelty, relevance of the journal, and the research practice presented in the paper. So one of the most fundamental principle is the ability to build upon and find inspiration in the idea of your peers. The most important thing is scientific research is to reach the people who need to know about your research. Publishing in top journals is one of the best ways to achieve that. So do thorough research and try to understand what you don't understand and what in fact others also don't understand. There is no such thing like a project that will definitely lead to a high impact publication. And if you switch your research to a specific field because it is successful, then you are probably too late. Already there must have been publication on that. And the best papers or the coolest findings were actually not planned. They came out of serendipity, just like that, by researchers who simply wanted to understand some strange observation and came across with the answers, right? So remember, there is nothing more satisfying than seeing your paper published and visible to the outside world. Hard work really pays off and delivers high quality and enduring and useful progress in human knowledge. Not all new concepts merit publication in high impact journal where the readership is broad. So the work must provide a significant step forward for the field and provide a new direction. Thank you so much everyone for your attention. I hand over the controls to our host.
Welcome back, everybody. How was the session? Please let us know your feedbacks. Okay, fantastic. So now that you have learned the rules of the game, right? Now that you have learned the rules of the game, now you have to play it better than anyone else. And of course, these are not my words. These are the words of Dr. Albert Einstein, world famous researcher. Who doesn't know him? And if he says that, then we all should agree, isn't it? So moving ahead, before I move on to my next slides, I have an announcement to make. We will be sharing a few surprise gifts to all of you, and for that I'll be sharing a feedback link. Our staff will share a feedback link right now in the chat. Please click on that, share your feedback towards the end, and yes, you will be eligible to participate and grab those free surprise gifts. We have an ebook as well. Okay. Now coming back to my presentation, as you can see on my screen, it is not the mountains ahead to climb that wear you out. It's the pebble in your shoe. Very correct statement, rightly said by Muhammad Ali. Now, whenever we look at publishing in high impact journals, we feel that it's a mammoth task, it's a tough task, but it's not like that. The situation here is you are relying on their abilities. Instead, you have to rely on your own abilities. Your abilities and working on your abilities will actually help you. So do not look at the mountain, look at the pebble in your shoe. What is stopping you from writing that great research paper? Okay, if you can figure that out, then yes, you can, and I'm sure most of you will be able to publish your research papers in high impact journals. In fact, the day that happens, please come back to this video and comment that you could do it because of the tips and tricks which we shared with you today. Now, hurdles will be there. Remember, as a researcher, you have to know this, that hurdles will be everywhere. When I used to work in lab, when my colleagues work in lab, everybody, whether it was Albert Einstein or whether it was Newton, whoever worked in a lab faced hurdles, okay? But you rise above the hurdle, so your standard, your quality improves each time, okay? Just like the kite, right? Now the kite does not rise in the direction of the wind, right? It rises against the wind. So the wind is blowing like this and it rises like this. The same way, you have to rise against these hurdles which these journals pose. I know that the first step will always be the hardest. I know that it will be very difficult to pick up the pen and write the first line of your research paper. It will be very difficult. But I am sure, I am confident now, by watching this webinar live broadcast, you will have a lot of insights on where things are going wrong and how can you improve, right? I want every biotechnician and every Rasayanican to keep shining always. And that is why I always say, you all are champions of tomorrow. So if you have to become a champion of tomorrow, then go in with a winner attitude and come out victorious with a smile. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching this live session, live webinar. My dear biotechnicians and Rasayanicans, all the best to all of you. Keep shining always in this world. We will always be there behind you like a mountain to support you, guide you, help you. Keep watching Biotecnika and Rasayanika. Please subscribe to our channel and good night. This live stream will be open for a few more minutes so that you can ask your queries, last few queries, and we will try to answer them. Thank you. Good night. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.